Hey all, Simone here. Beautiful day on the Central Coast. So I thought I'd tell you about some things that I noticed this week in talking to my clients, because today I just reviewed what the 3 things are that all my successful clients have in common. And a lot of people think it's all about the strategies, right? And of course we give you tons of really, really good strategies. But the question that I ask is, if everybody has great strategies, how come some succeed and some don't? And you might guess right, one of the really big ones is that you can't miss this. You have to deal with your mindset. And it's probably not the first time you've heard about this, but here's something that's even more important, is implementation. So it's kind of the trifecta of 3 things. First, you have to have that proven process that has really clear outcomes and that goes across all the different levels. So leadership, management, your individual contributors, you all have to be on the same page with this, right? So otherwise you'll be talking a lot and it's going to stay at the talking, and nothing much really happens to turn this into reality and into actions so that you can actually have some measurable results, right? We all want to talk about measurable results. So that's the first one. And then, like I said, the consistent mindset work, because you are a leader. So what would be different if you kept asking yourself, what would a leader do? Every time you're doing something, you could just really ask that question, but that's really only one part. You also really have to address your fatal flaws, and those are generally the stories that you're running in your head that keep you from showing up differently, that keep you from succeeding. So it's kind of like the weak story that you have in your head that's not the fun one. And you have to rip those weeds out. You have to rip out that stuff that's keeping you, holding you back, and that's keeping you from succeeding, and replace it really with stuff that's a lot more powerful, that gets you the outcome that you want instead of the one that you don't want, right? So you want to focus on the stuff that's powerful. And then, of course, taking all the great tools that I give my clients and then implement them. So they're dealing with they have the proven process, they're dealing with their mindset, and then they take the tools and then they implement. So, but here's the deal. So a lot of times it's easy to take, especially when you're learning something new, right? You take something new and you implement it, and of course it's a little bit rocky to start with, and it might not work immediately. That's just the simple truth. You have to get used to it. Your team has to get used to it. You all have to keep coming back to it and tweaking it. But the real value comes in when you keep implementing, when you're consistent. And it really requires a lot of intention behind that, and then the attention to the detail. And you have to think about it as you're replacing bad habits and instilling really good new ones. And you're not just doing this for yourself. You are helping your entire organization to do the same. So you have to realize this is going to take a while. You're probably going to have to do a lot of talking. And this probably means you become the chief reminding officer for a while, because people are going to get confused. They're going to be uncomfortable. And, sometimes I really have to say this and remind my clients 25 times before they really actually do it, because suddenly it's setting in, and suddenly they're seeing where they keep missing and why this new habit of doing it, although it's uncomfortable and hard to get into it, why that's really a much better idea. And when you have to do a lot of reminding, or when you try something only once and then you go back to your same old habits, what really sucks about that is you are wasting a ton of your and your company's time. So instead of spending a little extra time on the front end to keep implementing these new strategies, and the ones that really take a long time are the ones who succumb to that habit gravity of the old stuff that's comfortable, that they're used to. So it's really not comfortable. It's really not easy. Neither of those things really work, but that's what you're used to. So you keep going back to that, and it takes a lot longer to really get the outcome that you want. So you have to be disciplined about picking that proven new strategy and then implementing it consistently. And even when it seems tempting to just go back to the same old thing, don't do it. So it's easy to say, these new strategies don't work, but yes, if they do work, if you actually use them, and if you use them consistently. And when you make the time and the effort to make sure that everybody works on the same thing in the same way, you'll see the results. So you'll see that things get much more easy, that they flow. You will save a lot of time and effort. It suddenly doesn't feel like you're pushing a boulder up the hill anymore. You'll gain some momentum because suddenly everybody is pushing in the same direction at the same time, doing the right thing at the right time, and it won't feel like you're doing it all alone anymore. So it feels like you're working smarter and not harder. You're getting some strides going, and you're sharing the burden. Suddenly you have accountability, and you get some team effort behind this rather than just your own. So what does it take to be successful? Simple answer: you got to keep doing things differently, keep thinking differently. That's probably what got you here. So the next thing is really keep upping it, keep going there, keep heaping it on, so that you can actually make a much bigger difference with much less input. So don't reinvent the wheel. Don't do this alone. If you want to learn more about this, we just put out a great new training. Go to bulletproofstartups.com and check out our new training, and I hope I see you there.